what's it like to be a software engineer using AppSheet full time? And he's like, he made a really valid point. He goes, look, my job is to solve problems, not write lines of code. Hello, welcome to the Developer Spotlight. Today, I'm joined with Steve Basil and David Harcombe. Steve Basil,
Nice.
David Harcombe, myself and Charles Maxson, developer advocate at Google here on the Google Workspace DevRel team. We're coming to you live from Berlin today, where we've actually just wrapped up yet another set of summits, Workspace Developer Summit. David, Stephen, what'd you think?
Oh, I thought it was fantastic. We had a great turnout and actually met a lot of really cool people doing some amazing projects.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. So we've done a series of summits before. One of the great things we did this time is we actually included community speakers. So we had 9 folks that weren't Googlers actually talking about workspace development. The neat thing about that, we know the product fairly well. We know what we can do with it, but it's great to hear what other customers, other developers, what people are looking to do. David, what are some of the highlights for you?
I was going to say, that's been one of the biggest highlights of this event for me, is finding out how other people are using Workspace, because we know as Googlers how we think that people are going to use Workspace. What we don't know is how people actually use Workspace, what people really want to do with it. So not only do we find out what they're doing, we also find out a lot of what their asks are, what they want to do with it, what they would like Workspace to do for them. And so that's a great takeaway for us as Googlers and for the project managers that we're here, because we had a number of people from the PM team.
Yeah.
It's a great takeaway for them to find out what the client actually wants, what our users actually want, and things that we can build in.
Yeah, absolutely. So for folks who couldn't make it to the summit, as David mentioned, it was product managers, we had tech writers, obviously our team, the Google Workspace Developer Relations team, and then obviously a lot of our Google developer experts and other community contributors from around the world. So we had 2 tracks, which was awesome. One was more foundational, but some of it got a little deep at times, I thought, as well. Then we also had deep dives as well, too. So we got a lot of both.
And those got very deep sometimes.
Some got very deep, and I think...
Everyone's idea of a foundation is different.
Absolutely. But it was great. I mean, the couple things that stood out to me, the first one was the interactivity of the questions. We got a lot of questions.
Absolutely.
A lot of really good questions.
Yeah. So let's take a look at some of the sessions that maybe were highlights. You guys kicked it off. You talked about why.
We talked about why, and rather not trying to steal the thunder from the people coming after us, but in general, what people were going to see. Introduce ourselves, introduce the team, and introduce the reason for people why you should be working on the developer relations. On the Workspace platform.
Yeah. So sum it up in one sentence, Steve. Why? It was your talk.
It was. No, I mean, what it boiled down to is the platform is there to help you do what matters, right? And that varies from everyone who's there. We had a couple teachers, John McGowan, and then our earlier one, we had Alice Keeler, building solutions to help teachers teach, right? We had a couple admins are building solutions for compliance and security, whatever it is, right? Or maybe it's, partners like HubSpot or somebody, and it's helping salespeople. It doesn't matter, right? Like, they can build anything that they need to on the platform, so long as that's the thing that helps them do what's important for them.
Absolutely.
And of course, a lot of focus there on enabling people to do it without having to leave the platform that they're in, because that's one of the hardest things, is when you have to switch applications, you have to switch windows, and you lose the thread of what you're doing, and being able to do it all within Workspace. A lot of really good demos on showing how you can leverage that for yourselves.
So it's 2024, and as you say famously often, you're contractually obliged to talk about artificial intelligence.
Absolutely.
Yes.
What were some of the highlights you saw there? What did you see?
Even as someone who is expected to use AI in their day-to-day use of the Workspace, I was surprised at some of the things that people were able to do with it. One of the highlights for me in terms of using AI was Kara's demo, where she took the wireframes, basically a handwritten wireframe of the idea for a dialog box in the back of a napkin that she wrote in a restaurant in ballpoint, with, I have to say, not bad handwriting. She's very down on her handwriting. But taking that image and turning it into valid code in under 15 seconds and 2 lines of code kind of thing was quite astonishing to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna say your demos, Kara's drive renaming. I want that feature.
Absolutely, you need to publish that.
Yeah, just ship it today. Like, everybody needs that. I have more untitled documents in my drive than I even want to know right now. But even AppSheet, like AppSheet had a great demo about how that you can use AI without writing any code. Like that was pretty
Absolutely,
amazing.
yeah.
It's a great point. AppSheet was really popular. We were talking about a developer summit, but AppSheet really, the room was full every time. We had great sessions.
Yeah.
We had a lot of excitement around it. It's nice to see it included in the platform. I've always felt it was part of the platform. I actually had a little impromptu moment with one of the folks from a partner while the room was getting set up, and we had a little technical issue. Stood him up in front of the room, and I said, "What's it like to be a software engineer using AppSheet full time?" And he's like, he made a really valid point. He goes, "Look, my job is to solve problems, not write lines of code."
Yeah.
And so that was a great thing. So I love that, and the crowd got to hear that, and so it was pretty fun.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's true even for people who do write code, and we kind of forget it sometimes. The code is not the end, right? It's whatever
Solving the problem is the end.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's
so
right.
Exactly.
And you
it's just a
use
faster
whatever
path to get
tools
there.
you have to solve the problem, and AppSheet is just another tool in your toolbox.
So one of the things for me that I was surprised I actually liked so much was listening to the discussion and the banter around the Google Workspace Marketplace.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know,
In
Ramon
both locations.
And
Yes.
John and Patrick Wynn from the product team up there talking about how you can share your solutions. And one of the funny things that I think people kind of miss sometimes is the business opportunity around making workspace development.
Absolutely.
Steve and I joke all the time, maybe we should pull an add-on out there and make a little money on the side. But these guys are actually turning substantial businesses out by doing those type of things. What did you think of those discussions?
I do a lot. I deal with marketplace and publishing a great deal. As
Right,
part
you
of,
work with partners quite a bit.
would deal with partners quite a bit, and listening to on the ground how somebody really actually publishes things and the net result of it was eye-opening, to say the least.
Yeah, I happened to talk to John a little bit during lunch about his journey on going into the marketplace, and he was. He even said this during the panel discussion that he never really set out to start a business. He built something that he thought was cool. He wanted to share it. He put it out there, and once you share something, then people come with problems and they expect support, and then
Before you know where you are.
Yeah, and then you have to start. Well, okay, if I have to support them, I need to make this worth my while. And then you get into build, and it becomes very complex very quickly. But it's just really cool to see that something that started out as I just built this cool thing into several years later is a thriving business. That is just it's ridiculous. It's amazing.
It also goes to show that these events and this event and Google Workspace itself, it's not just there for the big companies. It's not just there for the big partners with multi-thousands of developers. If you are a small developer with a good idea that you think you can build into the marketplace to take Steve's example, we want your untitled document renamer. You can be a small one person who thinks that's a great idea, publish it in the marketplace, maybe monetize it, and you don't know where it's going to go. You don't have to be thousands of people.
Yeah, absolutely. I was pleased that they were sharing secrets.
Yeah.
How to get it done and everything, and they openly were contributing and making folks learn. So I think the other interesting thing is you look at who the attendees were. We had partners, we had SI partners, we had ISV partners, we had a lot of folks coming from businesses, small businesses. We had a lot of independent folks as well.
A lot of people from education too. A number of people from education.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So they come from all different walks of life. One of the questions I always get, I'm going to throw it on the table. Where's next year's going to be?
That's a good question. I don't know.
We'll get back to you on that. You need to stay tuned. But
we did get a lot of invitations though from people to come to their city.
I did get a lot of requests for warm places. Looking at you, Dara. So yeah, I think there's been a lot of excitement about it to keep these things going. This is I think our fourth or fifth. I even forgot go around. We've done
sixth.
With our double sets that we've been doing. So they've been popular, and
they have been very popular.
The hard part is making them near everybody. The hard part's getting a lot of folks together and travel. But it's been really a pretty good thing. So with that, gentlemen, what else would you like to tell everybody about the Workspace Developer Summit?
About the summit or the platform?
We can do that too.
I mean, the summit's, it's going to probably be a while. Although we have Next coming up in
March, March, April next year?
Somewhere around there.
April in Las Vegas.
April in Las Vegas. So it's actually nice to have the summit sort of to counterbalance the calendar a little bit, just because putting everything into Next and I/O is
Yeah.
it's okay, but it's a
I'd
long time to wait before seeing
the next
people.
one,
Yeah.
I'd like to say if you're using Workspace and you're thinking of developing using Workspace or AppSheet or AppScript and you weren't here, well, you should be next time, because there's so many good resources that you can learn here, so many good people that you can talk to, and so much information that you can gain from a summit like this that you won't simply won't get anywhere else.
No, absolutely true. And I
Yeah.
think I always say, and one of the things that we try to do is make sure, to your point, we've got great documentation, tools, and resources. But the nice thing is that interaction with people, to ask the question, to
Absolutely.
have a bi-directional conversation with people, to see the excitement, to be inspired. That's hard to get sometimes by yourself, taking a collab down, seeing what other people are doing and hearing what they're talking about. It energizes us. I know that. Also,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
also exhausts us.
exactly.
It's very tiring.
I'm energized but exhausted. Exactly.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I was going to say we put the content online, so people who weren't there can still see the sessions. But to your point and yours,
You won't get your own
Being-
questions answered.
being there, and for me, that was the best part. Is not the content was great, but the people and the conversations and just hearing everybody's stories during the breaks and during lunch and happy hour, it was just amazing.
Awesome. So if you have a little FOMO, we're sorry. Check the links below, and we'll link it to the session so you can see the recordings as we produce them and get them up. Subscribe to this channel. Therefore, when you know what the next one's coming along, you can join us at the next Workspace Developer Summit.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys, for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.